Motion Class 9 NCRT. Today we will discuss about how is force and motion related, what did Isaac Newton observe, what are the Newton's three laws of motion. First of all, let us discuss about what is motion. It is a change with the time of the position or orientation of a body. The location of an object can be specified by the reference point. Let us discuss about the displacement and the distance. What's the difference between both of them? Displacement means it is the shortest path in a straight line between the starting position and the final position. While distance means the how much ground an object has covered during its motion. When we consider this picture, we can say that the distance between A and B is 50 kilometer. When a person is moving from A to B, the displacement will be 50 kilometer. Again, she is coming back to A, then the displacement will be 0. While when we are considering distance, the total distance will be 50 plus 50, that is 100 kilometer. Uniform motion and a non-uniform motion. First of all, uniform motion, when an object covers equal distance in equal intervals, then it is called as uniform motion. In non-uniform motion, and an object covers equal distance in unequal time intervals. What is rate of motion? It is a distance traveled by an object in unit time. This is referred to as speed of that object. The SI unit of speed is meter per second. The rate of motion of an object can be measured in terms of average speed. So the average speed is equal to the total distance traveled divided by the total time taken. In the previous section, we have discussed about speed. Now in this section, we are going to discuss about speed with the direction. This is simply called the velocity of an object. Velocity is the speed of an object moving in a definite direction. The velocity can be uniform or variable. It can be changed by changing the object's speed, direction of motion, or both. Average velocity we can find out by using this formula, that is average velocity equal to initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. What is rate of change of velocity? It is simply called as acceleration. That means the change in velocity of an object per unit time, that is called as acceleration. Acceleration is equal to change in velocity divided by time taken. If we consider v as the final velocity and u as the initial velocity, then acceleration will be v minus u divided by 2. Acceleration can be considered as positive and negative. When the velocity is in the same direction, then acceleration is positive. If the velocity is in the opposite direction, then acceleration will be negative. There are two types of acceleration. It is uniform acceleration and non-uniform acceleration. For uniform acceleration, an object travels in a straight line and its velocity increases or decreases by equal amounts in equal intervals of time. In non-uniform acceleration, the object velocity changes at a non-uniform rate. Graphical representation of motion. We can represent the motion by using line graphs. In this line graphs, one physical quantity is dependent on another physical quantity. These physical quantities are distance, velocity, and time. First one is distance time graph. The change in position of an object with the time can be represented in this graph. Here, the time is taken along the x-axis and the distance is taken along y-axis. In the distance time graph, if the object is moving at a uniform speed, a graph of distance traveled against the time is a straight line. Moreover, that the distance is increasing at a uniform rate. In the distance time graph, the motion with a non-uniform speed have accelerated movement. The acceleration will be either positive or negative, which will be according to the velocity change. Next category of graph is the velocity time graph. In this graph, the variation in velocity with the time for an object moving in the straight line can be represented by using velocity time graph. In this, velocity is represented in y-axis and time in x-axis. If the object moves at uniform velocity, the height of the velocity part it will not change. That means it will be the straight line parallel to the x-axis. It is shown in this figure. The area enclosed by the velocity time graph gives us the magnitude of displacement. So the displacement, that is the distance moved by the object in the time duration, that is t2 minus t1, can be expressed as S is equal to the area of this rectangle. From this figure we can say that it is the area of that particular rectangle. So S is equal to velocity into t2 minus t1. For uniformly accelerated motion, the velocity changes by equal amount in equal intervals of time. That's why the velocity time graph is straight line at all the uniformly accelerated motions. The area under the velocity time graph gives us the distance moved by the object. These are the examples for the velocity time graphs which are non-uniformly accelerated. It can take any shape. Let us discuss about what is equations of motion. When an object moves along a straight line with a uniform acceleration, we can relate some physical quantities, that is velocity, acceleration, distance covered, and the time interval by using a set of equations. This is called as equations of motion. Three equations of motions are there. That is, first one is v is equal to u plus at and s is equal to ut plus half at square, and 2as is equal to v square minus u square. Our last topic is uniform circular motion. We can say that an object's velocity changes, then that object is accelerating. The change in velocity could be due to the change in magnitude or direction, or both we can say. When an object moves in a circular path with a uniform speed, its motion is called as uniform circular motion. If we consider a circle with a radius r, then its a circumference. That means the distance covered is 2 pi r. If the object takes t second to go once around the circular loop, then the velocity, that's the speed, is equal to 2 pi r divided by t.